Hello, welcome back to the Inwits, or the Inwits was still just me, Robin. I am so far behind with all my Survivor chat right now. It's been a busy couple of weeks, but I'm going to try and catch up. So today I am going to be talking Australian Survivor Blood vs. Water, episodes 19 and 20. Then I'm going to try and watch US Survivor, episode 3, and then hopefully I will be able to do my little breakdown of episodes 2 and 3 because I'm that far behind in the next couple of days. And as far as where have I been on Reality Pop, scheduling has been a little bit out of the loop for me, so I haven't been able to get onto the Reality Pop channel. But I hopefully will be back with Riley maybe this week, but most certainly the week after, depending on guests and whatnot. Anyway, enough of that. I don't have my regular camera. I'm just rocking my one off the laptop today. It's a shambles, but let's start chatting. We had finally a good couple of episodes of Australian Survivor. Look, I'm loving Survivor. I always love Survivor. I know, but I am a little bit frustrated with the current unfolding of the game that we've seen so far. And this seems to be a relatively consistent theme within Australian Survivor. Once merge happens, and not that people like to play it safe. People don't like to do anything. And I know there's going to be a lot of talk. Oh, I actually haven't seen much talk about this twist because everyone's still raving about Sam and the Sam hate that's going on out there. But this twist, so we get the Survivor auction this week. Geordie goes in to try and win the potential advantage after Geordie, KJ, and Shay get back in the game. So Geordie goes all in, $500 against Mark. Mark equals the $500 because they definitely don't want Geordie to win the potential reward in the covered item. Anyway, it goes through. KJ manages to go in on the last covered item, which ended up being the twist. She gets her cup of tea and the little bit of extra sugar, as she said in her confessional, which was nice. Come with a little bit extra sugar. The twist, you can send 3 people back to camp. They don't partake. They can't be voted out. They don't get to vote. There was always going to be something, wasn't there? Like when you have the people coming back into the game, you're most certainly going to need to have a way for them to at least try and stay in. And you've got 3 people coming back in, so the 3 people could have just survived that vote. Which, you know, that's credit to KJ for really thinking this through, because a plain, straight, and simple thing to do with this advantage was to just save the 3 of them and make them battle it out. But KJ really put some thought into this and played it super well. She did amazing. She played this really, really well. When it comes down to it, she ends up sending Mark, Josh, and Chrissy home. So the 3 of them get to stay there. The three exiled, the purgatory returnees, they get to stick around. And that's great because now they get to be sitting in the driver's seat. Now, I know a lot of people would hate the twist with Survivor, with a lot of hate towards the twist, but you know what? This twist was necessary. This twist had to happen because it's the only reason the game has started to move. No one has played a single thing in this. Like Geordie's been trying for ages to get the game to play, and of course people are just playing it safe. Oh, not yet. Dave kept saying not yet. Now's not the right time. This twist, unfortunately, is the only way to shake up this boring as hell game where no one wants to do anything, where the people on the bottom are just going to get picked off. So I like this twist. I thought it was the one thing that brought a bit of life into an almost flatlining final movement of this game in the last little section. This is it's boring as batshit. So being able to bring in this twist to force people to play a game they should have been playing for ages, for 40 days, I think it was necessary. I'm all for this twist, especially when you have numbnuts not doing anything. Or, well, look, they might not know that. Look, they're probably really nice people, I'm sure, but they just don't understand how the game should be playing. If you take Chrissy and Dave, right? And they are sitting there with Mark, Sam, Josh, and Geordie, two couples, and they're two individuals. Where do they go? What do they do? What can they do? They're sitting there at best. If you take immunity idols out of this game, at best, they can make third. If they don't make a move, they come in third. They're already sitting 5 and 6 in this powerful alliance, and they're happy. They're quite happy sitting 5 and 6. Even as much as Geordie keeps trying to say there's a second idol out there, Mark and Sam have two idols. Some people don't want to believe. Some people are playing ignorance. What if he was right? Like, on the off chance he is right, what do? You got to do something. Like, seriously. So what could happen if they pick off Shay, they pick off Geordie, they pick off KJ, and leave them with 6? Most likely, the two couples would vote a Dave or a Chrissy, split them apart, and then they'll use that single vote to split the other two apart, whichever couple wins, and it would probably fall down to whether a Mark or a Josh or Sam or Geordie win immunity. It would fall down to that. And then they would split the couple apart, and then they're going to be a single with a single. It's going to the best outcome they could do by sitting in this position is third, unless they win in individual immunity. Why are you playing like that? So this twist that forced Mark, Josh, and Chrissy out of the game, and the way KJ phrased it, Dave, you're probably going home pretty much. If you I'm afraid they'll vote you out. Dave has to jump across. Dave's been wanting to make a move. Dave's been talking about making a move, but been afraid to actually do anything, or maybe not even crunching the numbers or doing it, not actually understanding how the game works. And so now we fall into this situation where we get into the end game of Survivor, and we're still playing this ridiculous loyalty game that started in the rendition with season 1, not the original ones, but season 1. Why do we want to sit there and let the king and queen sit on top of the throne with all this power, which should have been manipulated? Oh my God, don't even get me started. You have the ability now to manipulate this power. The power, like Sam says, I don't want this idol to be public. It's public. Whether you believe it, whether you keep denying it or not, it's public. You kind of lost the power of the idol. So anyway, King and Queen, Mark and Sam, they don't come to tribal with the idols. Great, good on them. This is the problem. This is the problem when you get two idols. When two idols come into play, you get overconfident. This happens. You believe that you're completely invulnerable and nothing can hurt you, and you just rock up to tribal without one of the two idols you've got. Just because you're that confident. Holy hell, what an easy time to blindside someone. What an amazing opportunity, because people with idols, and especially people in Australian Survivor, don't ever use idols as offensive plays. And sure, what of it? It's worked for them. They've got to, and Mark probably ends up becoming the winner because of it, playing it defensively. But it's not entertaining, and it's not a great style of game. Mark's done really well. In the grand scheme of things, for someone who is such a big physical threat, he's been able to reduce his target. He hasn't been, he's not on the chopping block. And Sam's copping the heat. So you know what? He's done well considering. But for me, for a fan, I'm wanting to see someone use some idols with some power. And unfortunately, as per usual, you get this situation where you think you're invincible with two idols, so you don't do anything. And this is what happens. So Mark tries to give Sam this little wrapped up thing, and Sam bluffs the way through, and good on her. Problem is, Sam bluffs the wrong way. Sam says, I'm going to play it for myself. I've got an idol. You can't vote me out. So where does that leave Jordan? That leaves Jordan gone. The safe vote is for Jordan. We've seen it done before, and we've seen it done well. I've got this idol. You can vote for one of us, but I'm definitely playing it for one of us. You got to guess. 50-50. Now you have to put fear into Dave, because Dave, as we know, has wanted to play the game, but for some reason hasn't. The reason must be some form of fear, must be some form of it not working out. And if you give an element of doubt, if Sam was to give an element of doubt in this moment, she is able to potentially keep Dave on the side, and they have to make a play. Do they go Jordan? Do they go Sam? Because we don't know. Sam instantly says, I'm playing it for me, throwing Jordan as an easy vote. Look, if she didn't have the idol, so she didn't have any, she had nothing. She was just, you had to call that bluff. But if she did have the idol, I don't mind her saying, I'll play it for me, you can't get me out, and then playing it for Sam, then playing it for Jordan. That's not bad. However, it's not going to be an issue. Like, I really think Mark will walk away with this. But it's a great move for KJ. KJ plays that twist really, really well. She doesn't walk home. She doesn't let them kill themselves, and she takes a little bit of power. And then we end up with the 4-4 split. With Josh is fuming. Josh is fuming that his cousin's gone. Like, why? That's the game. I know you want to get there to the end, but he is ropeable. He is over the top angry about this. It seems so ridiculous how I've got to cool down. I'm going to sleep on it. Woken up. I'm still pissed off. I am still, what? Like, calm down, mate. It was only the fact that when Dave managed, because he wanted to get Dave, he was literally going crazy. It was only the fact that when Dave said, well, what else were we to do? Sam said she was going to play it for me, or play it for herself. We had to vote Jordan. That he kind of started to get a little bit more. Well, he still stayed angry. He just redirected his anger somewhere else, which is fine. But now he wants to try and potentially play the game. He does throw the vote on Sam. So we get back to tribal. Geordie says the same thing, the same pitch. And I actually don't mind Geordie's pitch. What have you got to lose? Split the votes. The rest of them, stack it on me. If Sam plays the idol, I go. My game is done. I love Geordie's little pitch that he's been pitching for a while now. Really, really enjoy that. So Josh ends up falling in line. Josh switches, leaving Chrissy, Mark, and Sam on the outs. So Mark, this whole time, Mark's wanting the majority. Mark wins individual immunity. They've still got 2 idols. If Josh didn't flip in this moment, if Josh didn't go, well, maybe they do. Maybe there is 2 idols. Maybe there might not be, but maybe there is at least one. If he didn't flip, oh my God. Thankfully he flips. But then in the moment of reading the idols is trying to convince Sam and Mark to play it for Sam, play the idol for Sam, protect Sam. Trying to outs Geordie, but still, I don't know what he's thinking there. What's Josh's? What is he trying to be loyal? Is he trying to still? Is that jury management? Because it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't really. I don't understand why he really wanted to keep Sam and Mark together, and even though part of him wanted to get rid of him, part of them wanted. I guess he didn't want to be at fault. Maybe that's what it was. He didn't want to be at fault, and that's okay. But he flips, and then Sam goes home. And now we're left with Mark with what? How many got? 1, 2. We've got 3, 7 people left. Mark has 2 idols. And they can only be played up until 5. So he is guaranteed final 5. This should never have happened at all. The fact that Mark here, and you know what? Great play for sacrificing Sam. You needed that, and I think that was needed to happen. Sam needed to take the bullet there, because now Mark has a clean run to 5. Can't get him out. You can't do anything. Plays the idol at 6. You might, you could vote him plays it for 7, plays it at 6. He must win 5. He must win the individual immunity to 5 to get into the top 4. But he's in amazing shape. And all this should never have happened. Straight off the bat, we have Mark saying, right when he finds his first idol, you've got to keep it private. I don't want to tell anyone. Ends up telling someone. Everybody knows about this idol. This is a public idol. That's now, Every idol is public. We know about everything. It's horrible. It's horrible to see these idols just be wasted so much. But anyway, Sam goes. Everyone's pissed off at Sam. Of course they are. She walks into Jury Villa and she's very, very upset. But this is actually not a bad play either, because Sam now has a week or so, 10 days, to potentially cool the jets of everybody. She's now out of the game. The heat's off her. The stolen idol can be forgotten because Sam can't win. And now she also has the ability to help maybe sway the jury towards Mark. Maybe convince, maybe if they do forgive her, which they probably will. It's a game. It's fine. But this is a great situation for Mark. He's got Sam out. The most hated person in the game so far is now out. Mark hasn't really upset anybody other than Sam. He only upset his wife when he wouldn't let her speak. He's got a clean run through. It's going to be pretty hard to get him out, because the next thing, it makes sense to get rid of Geordie. It makes sense to get rid of Josh. These physical players. Although the weaker players really need to keep the physical players to try and stop Mark winning, to winning in an individual immunity. And he's doing pretty well at the moment. So where does that leave KJ, Dave, Shay, and Chrissy? They need to really band together to get rid of their actual threats. But unfortunately, I feel like Josh goes, Geordie goes, Dave might go. You'd probably want to get rid of KJ, because KJ has a really strong move for her resume, even though she hasn't got much else. She said, I've been playing the game this whole time. You're just not letting me play. I've been wanting to play. It's hard. It's hard because I get really frustrated to watch a game where people just sit there and go on cruise control when you're sitting at the bottom of a 6-person alliance. So I don't know if they can get Mark out. I think Mark's 100% good for the next 2 tribals, potentially 3 if he wins an individual immunity. We only have final 2, unless we've changed to final 3. And I don't care. Mark was okay. I really liked Mark at the start of Mark's game. Just nowadays, it's getting a bit meh. When you're on the top, he doesn't need to make any moves. He doesn't need to do anything. He has to play the mantra of stick together, stick together, stick together. That's where we sit. I would hope to see some sort of play. I think we're too little, too late to see some great, amazing gameplay. I would love to see Geordie somehow pull the ability to get to final 2. I'm happy with a KJ or a Shay to get to final 2, to be honest. And as much as Mark was my favorite or winner pick early on, I just don't want him to win. I think there's better gameplays out there. I really think I think people should play the game. If we get another season, we should be getting another season. Hopefully we get another season. If any luck, I get a chance to play. All I want from a fan's perspective is for the Australians to start playing the second half of the game, to just actually have a crack and do something. If you're at the bottom of the alliance, move to another alliance, jump ship, shake things up. What do you mean there's now's not the right time? When you say now's not the right time, you missed the right time. You missed the moment. Because if you think now's not the right time, so does the people above you, and they're confident. All I want is for somehow we can, and I don't care if the people have played or seen Survivor before. I don't care if they've never seen Survivor. I don't care if Chrissy and Dave, they've never watched the show. All I want, though, is someone who's going to come in and play the game. We've got a great thing going. Why don't we play? Why can't we cast people who actually want to make moves? Where are we making the mistake here? Because this happens way too many times, over and over again in Australian Survivor, where we get to the merge and we want to play this safe game and the constant kumbaya. Am I shaking the camera seems to be lopsided. Well, doesn't matter. I don't have my main camera. We'll fix that up. I hope for the next season that we just see some people willing to play some games, willing to make a move, willing to take an idol, make it an offensive idol, not make it a safety net. Anyway, that's enough of my rant. I'm frustrated at Australian Survivor. I'm happy with the last 2 episodes to see some gameplay, to see something happen, to see something get shaken up. I'm really, really happy about that. But at the expense of an overall poor merge, I don't think we should have to rely on a twist for this to happen. But we do. We have to rely on adding a twist to the game because no one's willing to play. So, look, in the last few weeks of this show, I'm hoping we get some great moves. We get something that's going to shock. I mean, we can't. Nothing's going to shock anything because it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get what I want. But look, I'm going to wrap that up there. I'm going to go watch US Survivor episode 3, and hopefully I won't get time to do it today, but hopefully in the next couple of days I'll be back and I'll do US Survivor 2 and 3, jumble them together. I'll have to watch episode 2 again because I've bloody forgotten everything that happened. I got no idea. I have no idea what happened in episode 2. I've forgotten. I'll do them, and again, I should be back properly on Reality Pop in 1 or 2 weeks. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to my frustration, and I'll see you all next time. Bye in this weird, awkward end broadcast moment. Done.